Welcome to Passport to Sleep, a calming journey through real places and dreamy escapes. Let's begin tonight's story. The plane drops low over a patchwork of deep green and silver rivers, and there it is. Luang Prabang, tucked into the bend of the Mekong, a small city floating between mountains and mist. From the air it looks like a secret kept well. Dense jungle presses in from every side. The river curves in slow, lazy arcs around a tongue of land dotted with red rooftops and gilded stupas. Even from this height, Luang Prabang glows. We step down onto the tarmac, the heat folding around us like a soft, wet blanket. The airport is small, no bigger than a country train station, and within minutes we are sliding into the back of a tuk-tuk, the wind pulling at our hair, the road ahead leading straight into the lush green heart of Laos. The ride into town is a drift through edges, fields stitched with rice paddies, palms bowing low over muddy streams, clusters of houses built from woven bamboo and pale wood, their roofs patched with rusted tin. And then, almost without noticing the change, we are in the city itself. If city is even the right word for a place like this. Luang Prabang is slow, dreamlike. It hums rather than shouts, breathing with the rhythm of the river. The streets are lined with French colonial villas, their shutters flung wide to catch the breeze, their whitewashed walls tangled in bougainvillea. In between these relics of empire are the temples, quiet and shimmering, their roofs like layered bird wings stretching toward the sky. We check into a small guest house tucked down a side lane near the river, a place with teak floors and flower-filled courtyards, the scent of frangipani thick in the air. Our room is simple and cool, with carved wooden shutters and white mosquito nets drifting over the beds. From the balcony, we can see the slow glimmer of the Nam Khan River, just beyond a fringe of banana trees. Dropping our bags, we step back into the heat and the light, pulled by the golden flicker of temple roofs and the soft, secret tug of the city. The streets are narrower here, shaded by tamarind and flame trees. Everywhere we walk, the scent of burning wood, ripe mangoes and sweet basil rides the air. The tuk-tuks sputter past, bright blue and noisy, but even their engines seem half asleep. Orange-robed monks move silently along the sidewalks, their heads bowed, their bare feet whispering against the dust. Our first stop is Wat Sieng Thong, the Golden City Monastery, built in 1560 under the rule of King Sethathirath. It is considered the crown jewel of Luang Prabang's temples, and as we pass through its arched gate, the world tilts into stillness. The main sim, the assembly hall, rises before us, its sweeping roofs dipping low toward the earth, layered in dark wood and capped with golden finials shaped like nagas, the mythical river serpents. The walls shimmer with intricate mosaics, scenes of daily Lao life picked out in tiny squares of mirrored glass, farmers guiding water buffalo, children chasing birds, boats slicing across silver rivers. We remove our shoes and step onto the cool stone. Inside, the air is dim and heavy with incense. Gilded pillars rise like trees in a midnight forest, their surfaces alive with carvings of lotus blossoms and celestial dancers. At the far end, a massive Buddha sits cross-legged on a platform of gold, his smile so slight it feels like a secret meant just for those who have walked this far. There is a hush here, not imposed but natural, as if even the air knows to soften itself. We sit cross-legged on the floor, the scent of sandalwood threading through the shadows, and listen to the temple breathe around us. Outside, the heat presses closer, thick and shimmering. We follow the river road, wandering without map or direction. Wat Sensukharam appears next, a smaller, quieter temple, its exterior the colour of fresh blood, its trim picked out in gold so bright it seems lit from within. Built in 1718 with donations from a wealthy Lao family, the temple stands as a monument to centuries of quiet devotion, to the slow, steady heartbeat of faith that pulses through every stone in this city. An old woman sits on the steps, weaving small baskets from strips of palm leaf, her fingers moving with the easy speed of long practice. She smiles when we pass, revealing teeth stained black from chewing betel nut. The monks here move slower still, raking the fallen frangipani blossoms into neat piles, their simple tasks stitched into the grander fabric of temple life. Mid-afternoon finds us drawn toward the river, where a line of small cafes unfurls along the banks of the Mekong like a row of sleepy cats stretched in the sun. We choose one shaded by a giant tamarind tree and settle into low chairs, the wooden slats warm under our palms. The menu is simple: mango smoothies, iced Lao coffee, sweetened with condensed milk, plates of papaya salad crushed fresh in heavy stone mortars. We order 2 coffees, and the first sip sends a shiver of delight straight through us. It is thick and almost chewy, strong enough to anchor the soul, sweet enough to lift it. The river slides by, slow and lazy, catching the scattered light in 1,000 ripples. Across the water, low hills roll up into the sky, the jungle breathing green and endless beyond them. A longboat motors past, its prow painted with the fierce curling face of a dragon. The pilot waves as he passes, the wake of his boat sending the reflection of the trees into a slow, hypnotic dance. We sit there a long time, the coffee cooling in our cups, the sun bending lower, the world melting into the slow sigh of afternoon. As the heat softens, we begin the gentle climb up Mount Fosi, the small hill that rises from the very heart of Luang Prabang, like a prayer reaching toward the heavens. The path winds upward in a slow, worn spiral, stone steps crumbling at the edges, the handrails draped in flowering vines. Small shrines dot the way, Buddha images tucked into niches, golden footprints pressed into the stone, tiny altars crowded with offerings of marigolds, incense sticks, and sticky rice wrapped in banana leaves. Halfway up, we pause to catch our breath. The city spreads out below us, a lacework of red roofs and green gardens stitched into the bend of the rivers. The Mekong glows gold where the sunlight catches it, bending slowly away toward the horizon. At the summit, the golden spire of that Chomsy pierces the sky. Built in 1804, the stupa stands like a lighthouse of faith, guiding souls instead of ships, its gold leaf worn thin by rain and sun, but still catching the last light like a torch. We find a place on the steps, the stone still warm against our legs, and watch the sunset unfold. It is not a violent sunset, not a flash of drama and fire. It is slow, like everything here, a deepening of colour, a soft exhale. The sky shifts from pale blue to dusty rose to deep gold to a bruised, gentle purple. The river mirrors it all, swallowing the light and giving it back, bending it, softening it. The town below glows in small, careful points, lanterns swinging in doorways, the soft light of candles flickering in temple windows, the faint, steady gleam of monks' quarters set deep in the trees. A bell tolls once, long and low, and the sound folds into the night. We descend slowly, the last light slipping through the trees, the dust rising soft around our feet. The streets of Luang Prabang feel changed in the darkness, closer, more secret. We follow the hum of voices and the smell of wood smoke to the night market, which spills like a slow river along the main street. Under rows of red tents, vendors display silk scarves dyed in colours the sunset would envy. Silver jewellery hammered thin as leaves, paintings of monks crossing bamboo bridges, tiny carved Buddhas, and hand-sewn bags heavy with the scent of fresh cotton. The air is thick with the smells of grilled meats, sticky rice steamed in banana leaves, coconut pancakes sizzling on hot griddles. We wander without aim, fingers brushing the silk, noses filled with the sweetness of roasted peanuts and lemongrass. Dinner finds us in a hidden courtyard restaurant just off the market. The tables are rough wood, the chairs worn smooth by years of use. The garden around us hums with life, frogs singing from a distant pond, geckos chirping from the walls. We order plates of sticky rice, bowls of fragrant green curry, heavy with coconut and basil, a plate of lap, minced meat tossed with mint, lime, and roasted ground rice, so bright and sharp it sings against the tongue. The food is simple, perfect, alive. The wine is cold and pale, the air soft against our skin, the stars beginning to press through the dark. After dinner, we walk slowly back along the Mekong. The river has turned to black silk under the moonlight, stitched with silver where the lanterns reflect. The boats bob gently against their moorings, their shadows long and soft against the quay. The city breathes in the dark, patient and ancient, and we breathe with it, stitched now into its slow, endless story. The alarm sounds long before the sky shows any hint of colour. We rise in darkness, fumbling quietly into yesterday's clothes, our footsteps muffled against the old teak floors. Outside, the city holds its breath. No horns, no chatter, only the faint, low hum of crickets and the river breathing in the dark. By the time we step into the street, a cool mist clings low over the stones. The air smells faintly of wood smoke and damp earth, and the lanterns strung along the old colonial villas flicker like tired fireflies against the heavy dark. We walk slowly toward the main street, drawn by the pull of an ancient ritual. Each morning before sunrise, the monks of Luang Prabang walk barefoot through the streets in a line of silent saffron. The practice, called takbat, has been part of this city's soul for over 600 years. The tradition began as a way for monks who vow to own nothing to connect with the community. The people give rice, fruit, or sweets into the monks' bowls, and in return, they receive spiritual merit, a blessing that drifts unseen through the day ahead. It is not a show, it is not for tourists. It is life, steady and sure, the way the river keeps flowing long after storms pass. We find a place near the base of Mount Fauci, where the monks will pass on their way down from the temple dormitories. Locals are already kneeling by the roadside, their heads bowed, their baskets of rice steaming in the cool air. Their faces are solemn, almost tender, lit briefly by the candles they set at their feet. The first bell tolls from a distant temple, low, slow, deep enough to vibrate through the stones under our feet. Then the monks appear, moving out of the mist like a river of colour. They walk in single file, heads bowed, hands cupped around their alms bowls. Their robes are brilliant even in the dim light, the colour of marigolds, of sunrise caught before it spills into day. The line stretches long and silent, broken only by the soft clink of rice dropping into bowls, the occasional whispered prayer. We watch quietly, hands folded, letting the moment pass over and through us. The monks are young and old alike, boys no older than 6, faces still round with childhood, walking beside elders whose bare feet have walked these stones for decades. Each receives the offerings without looking up, moving forward in slow, measured grace. Behind them, the city wakes in slow ripples. Dogs stretch and yawn in the alleys. A rooster lifts its voice into the mist. Somewhere far off, a market vendor clatters open a wooden stall. The monks disappear into the soft light, their backs a fading thread stitched into the fabric of morning. We stand still for a long moment after they pass, holding the hush close, unwilling to break it just yet. Breakfast finds us back at the small cafe from yesterday, where the owner recognizes us with a nod and a smile. We sit under the same balcony, the wood warm now against our palms, and sip thick Lao coffee. Today it tastes even richer, smoky, bitter and sweet all at once, thick enough to slow time. A warm baguette arrives, crisp on the outside and soft within, a lingering gift from Laos's brief time under French rule in the 19th and 20th centuries. We smear it with fresh papaya jam and eat slowly, watching the mist lift off the river, revealing boats bobbing gently against the quay. Today we will follow the river outward, away from the stitched-together rooftops and narrow lanes, toward a quieter wildness waiting just beyond the edges of town. The tuk-tuk carries us south, its small engine buzzing merrily along dusty roads that grow narrower and greener the farther we go. Fields open up on either side, neat squares of rice paddies dotted with the bright hats of farmers bent over their work. Water buffalo stand ankle-deep in muddy ponds, their tails flicking lazily at invisible flies. Small children wave as we pass, grinning shyly, their bare feet kicking up puffs of dust. The jungle begins to press closer, the road winding through thick walls of bamboo and banana trees, heavy with green fruit. After about an hour, the driver pulls off at a simple wooden sign, Guangxi Waterfalls. We climb out, stretching our legs, the sudden coolness of the forest wrapping around us like a wet scarf. The trail into the falls is soft and shaded, the ground damp beneath our shoes. The air smells of wet stone, wild ginger, and the faint sweetness of orchids hiding in the undergrowth. The sound of the water comes first, a low, steady roar, deep and endless. And then the forest parts and the waterfalls reveal themselves. Guangxi is not a single fall but a cascade, a series of turquoise pools stepping down from a height of nearly 60 metres. The water spills over the limestone in sheets, glinting silver and white where the sunlight catches it. It gathers into wide, shallow pools, their bottoms chalky white, their surfaces a colour so bright it seems otherworldly. Not quite blue, not quite green, but something in between, like the heart of a glacier or the skin of a dragonfly. The local limestone deposits leach calcium carbonate into the water, giving it that famous milky turquoise glow, a phenomenon that looks almost too perfect to be real. We step off the path and wade into one of the lower pools. The water is cold enough to steal the breath from our lungs, shocking at first, then exhilarating. Small fish dart around our ankles, nibbling gently at our toes. The stone beneath the water is smooth, worn down by centuries of flow. We slip under the fall of water at the edge of the pool, letting the current batter and cool us, washing away dust, thought, time itself. The air is filled with the thunder of falling water, but within it is a deep, soothing silence. It feels like being inside a living heart, a place where the world beats slower and stronger at once. We spend hours wandering from pool to pool, climbing damp stone steps carved into the cliffs, finding secret corners where the jungle crowds close and the water spills into hidden glades. Everywhere there is green, bamboo towering above, vines dangling from invisible branches, moss carpeting the rocks like velvet. Dragonflies buzz in lazy circles, bright birds dart between the leaves, flashes of colour too fast to name. The sun climbs higher, dappling the forest floor with shifting patterns of gold and shadow. By early afternoon, we find a small wooden terrace perched over one of the higher pools, and sit, feet dangling into the cool electric blue, watching the slow drift of clouds overhead. A nearby vendor sells fresh coconut slices and cold bottles of water, and we feast simply, peeling the sweet, tender meat from the shell with our fingers. Time blurs again, stitched only by the steady roar of the falls and the slow movement of sunlight across the sky. When we finally leave Guangxi, the tuk-tuk carries us back toward town, but instead of stopping at the city gates, we continue down to the riverbanks. There, longboats are waiting, their bows painted in bright swirls of red and green, their pilots leaning lazily against the hulls, smoking and chatting. We step onto one of the boats and settle onto low wooden benches covered with woven mats. The engine sputters to life with a reluctant cough, and we drift out into the wide, brown ribbon of the Mekong. The river is slow today, its surface wrinkled only by the passing boats and the occasional fish breaking through with a quick silver flash. Along the banks, fishermen crouch in long, narrow canoes, casting their nets with wide, slow sweeps. Water buffalo graze at the edges of the fields. Children splash in the shallows, their laughter carrying over the water. The sun drops lower, gilding the world in gold. The hills beyond the river turn soft and blue, the trees on their slopes catching fire for a few brief minutes before the light folds itself away into dusk. The boat rocks gently underfoot. The smell of the river, earthy, warm, alive, rises around us. We pass small villages stitched together with bamboo and thatch, each one no more than a handful of houses crouched against the jungle. The air cools, the sky deepens, the first stars blink out cautious and shy. As night falls, we glide back into the city. The lights of Luang Prabang flicker along the riverbanks, lanterns strung between trees, candles glowing in temple windows, small fires burning low in courtyard kitchens. We eat dinner at a small restaurant near the water. Grilled riverfish arrives wrapped in banana leaves, the flesh soft and fragrant with lemongrass and lime. A bowl of green papaya salad stings the tongue with bright, clean heat. Sticky rice steams from the woven baskets, the grains clinging together like fingers clasped in prayer. The night hums around us, crickets, river water, the soft murmur of monks chanting evening prayers somewhere just beyond sight. We eat slowly, letting the day settle into our bones, the taste of river and fire and green things lingering long after the plates are cleared. Later, we walk once more along the river's edge. The bamboo bridge, rebuilt every year by hand, stretches across the Nam Khan in the soft moonlight, its ropes swaying gently in the breeze. We pause at its entrance, watching the water slide beneath it in endless, patient arcs. The town around us folds into the dark, still breathing, still dreaming. We turn for home, hearts heavy and light at once, stitched now into the slow, golden story of this river town, where nothing rushes and everything endures. The sky is still dark when we wake, the air inside the room cool and heavy with the scent of water and flowers. Outside, the town holds its breath, no voices yet, no footsteps, only the soft, low hum of the river turning itself slowly toward the coming day. We dress quietly and slip down the worn stone steps into the stillness of the street. Today will be a day for walking, for breathing, for saying goodbye to this place not with words, but with the slow, careful gathering of moments we can carry home. The morning market is already alive when we reach it, though the sky is only just beginning to pale with the first hint of dawn. Vendors squat behind woven mats spread with their goods, mounds of green herbs glistening with dew, baskets of small, furious chilies, long rows of live fish still gasping in the cool air. There are slabs of meat wrapped in banana leaves, trays of sticky rice shaped into tight balls, and bundles of orchids bound with raffia, their petals bruised and fragrant. The air smells sharp and thick, crushed herbs underfoot, the iron tang of raw river fish, the sudden bright sweetness of fresh lychees split open in laughing mouths. We move slowly, breathing it in. A woman offers us cups of steaming broth ladled from a vast iron pot, its surface shimmering with the glint of floating herbs. We sip carefully. The broth is light, clear, tasting of lemongrass, ginger and pepper. A liquid sunrise warming us from the inside out. Nearby, a boy no older than 7 fans a small charcoal fire beneath a rack of sticky rice cakes wrapped in palm leaves. He grins shyly when we buy 2, and the cakes crackle slightly as we bite into them, the rice inside sweet and rich, the palm leaves lending a faint smoky perfume to each mouthful. The sun lifts higher, the market brightening. Shadows retreat into the alleyways. Vendors shout greetings across the square. Dogs weave through the stalls, tails wagging, snouts twitching. We buy nothing more, but carry the smells and sounds with us as we leave, tucked into our skin like invisible souvenirs. By late morning, the heat begins to build. The air thickens, turning heavy and golden. The river sweats under the rising sun. We decide to cross to the far bank of the Namkhan, using the ancient way the villagers still rebuild each year, the bamboo bridge. It stretches across the river like a line drawn in a child's hand, swaying slightly with the movement of the water below. Each rainy season, the bridge is washed away by the swollen currents. Each dry season, the villagers gather again to rebuild it, weaving and tying and hammering it into being, plank by plank, pole by pole. It is a ritual older than memory, a promise renewed every year with calloused hands and stubborn hope. We step carefully onto the bridge. The bamboo slats creak under our feet, and the ropes sigh with the gentle push of the wind. Below, the river slides past, green and lazy, scattering broken reflections of the trees and clouds. The bridge sways slightly with our movement, not dangerously, but enough to remind us that the world beneath us is always shifting, always alive. Halfway across, we stop and lean against the simple handrails. The town behind us gleams in the full morning light, temples crouching low behind frangipani trees, the spires of stupas catching the sun like blades, the rooftops stitched together in dusty reds and golds. Ahead, the far bank waits, quieter, greener, the line of small gardens and sleepy houses pressing close to the water. We cross the last few steps and find a narrow dirt path leading into the trees. On the far side, the world feels softer still. There are no shops here, no tuk-tuks sputtering along the lanes, only dusty tracks winding between gardens heavy with tropical fruits and small houses hidden behind walls of hibiscus and bougainvillea. We walk without hurry, the sun dappling the ground through the wide green leaves overhead. Children dart past on bicycles too big for them, laughing, their sandals flapping against the pedals. A man tends a small plot of corn, singing softly under his breath, his voice blending with the low hum of bees drifting between the flowers. At a small cafe built from weathered bamboo and rusted tin, we stop for a drink. The owner brings tall glasses of iced tea sweetened with honey, the ice rattling softly against the glass. We sip slowly, sitting on low wooden stools under a tattered awning, watching the river drift by, the bridge behind us swaying gently in the heat, the tea tastes of flowers and sunlight, and a slow, forgiving earth. We linger, unwilling to leave the shade, the softness of this hidden side of the city. Later, we cross back over the bamboo bridge, the sun at our backs, the boards warm underfoot. The town gathers itself again around us in slow, humming, patient. We find ourselves wandering once more toward the old temples at the centre of Luang Prabang. At Wat Mai Suvarnabhumiham, the new monastery built in the late 18th century, we step inside the shaded porticos and feel the heat slip from our shoulders. The walls are heavy with murals painted in the smoky reds and golds of long-ago fires. They tell the story of Prince Vesantara, the Buddha in his penultimate life, who gave away all he owned, even his children, in his quest for perfect compassion. The murals are chipped, faded, weathered by smoke and prayer, but their heart is still fierce, still beating. We sit on the cool tiles for a long time, letting the stillness fold around us. The air smells of wax and dust and incense burned down to soft grey memory. The monks move quietly through the shadows, their robes brushing the stone, their presence a slow, steady river that shapes the day without ever calling attention to itself. Lunch is found at a quiet garden cafe hidden behind a crumbling wall of pink brick. There is no menu, only a blackboard propped against a tree, listing the day's offerings in chalk that smudges with every shift of the breeze. We order green curry made with coconut milk and sweet basil, sticky rice steamed in woven baskets, and a salad of shredded green papaya dressed with lime and crushed peanuts. The food is bright, sharp, alive, every bite a reminder that the soil and rivers and sun of this place feed not just the body, but the spirit. We eat slowly, watching dragonflies dance over the pond in the center of the garden, the ripples from their wingtips breaking the stillness into rings of light. The afternoon stretches long and golden. We wander back toward the river, following the lazy pull of the water. At the tip of the old peninsula where the Mekong and Namkan meet, we find a small clearing shaded by massive fig trees. We sit on a fallen log and watch the rivers stitch themselves together, slow and sure, carrying all the dust and dreams and prayers of the mountains down toward the sea. Children swim in the shallows, their shouts floating high and sweet into the bright, heavy air. Fishermen cast their nets in slow, graceful arcs, their silhouettes sharp against the burning sky. The sun sinks lower and the world softens. For our final evening, we return to the riverfront, where a small restaurant spills its tables out onto the stones. The lanterns are already glowing, their skins of silk and paper trembling in the soft night breeze. We sit close together, watching the sky darken from gold to violet to deep blue stitched with the first brave stars. Dinner is simple and perfect, grilled chicken marinated in lemongrass and ginger, platters of stir-fried morning glory slick with garlic, another bottle of cold beer Laos sweating on the table. The food tastes of endings and beginnings, of earth and river, of long days stitched together by light and patience. We eat slowly, savouring the salt on our lips, the warmth in our bones, the weight of everything we have seen and touched and breathed in. After dinner, we walk once more through the streets of Luang Prabang. The city has folded itself into a soft hush. The lanterns sway, the rivers breathe, the stones hum under our feet. We stop at the bamboo bridge one last time, the planks cool under our palms. We look out over the water, dark now but still moving, still carrying the memory of all that has passed through it, and we say goodbye without words. Only breath, only silence, only the slow, patient turning of the river beneath the endless stars. We hope you enjoyed this journey. Please follow us for more destinations, and don't forget to leave a review. It helps others find a peaceful place to drift off to. We'd also like to remind you that information in this episode may become outdated. Please verify with your own research if you plan on travelling to any of these lovely destinations. Until next time.